Welcome back, Nick Lenz. This is Comic Corner Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 1120 and Doubleshot number 1012. Yep. Actually, 2017. Excuse me. Okay, got two group trades, two group series. One, of course, it was a series that started just last year. That, as far as as of right now, they want to release 11 issues for this series. This is Savage Avengers, Volume 1, City of Sickles. Yep, this collects the first 5 issues of this ongoing series, plus the free comic day issue. Written by Gary Duggan, artwork by Mike D'Adella Jr. Now, when I first heard about the concept of the series and when I saw the line, I'm like, oh yeah, I would love. You're mine. Eventually, of course, I got this online. Now, the lineup, of course, is so cool. Like, who would have thought this would be a team of characters? I mean, look at these characters. You have Brother Voodoo, the Punisher, Elektra, Venom, Wolverine, and, no joke, Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, he came to present day. That's thanks to No Road Home. Yeah, that series brought in the present day, which I thought that was interesting. Yes. And the first part of this particular thing, Wolverine is fighting Conan, and then of course he meets up with the others. Now, Elektra does know Brother Voodoo. I'm kind of thinking though, when the heck these two ever met? I'm sure she knows of Brother Voodoo, but as for, and of course, who the main villains, I'll get to admit. As for when in the world these two met, I don't have any idea when these two met. Yeah, I mean, they don't even reference the fact that Punisher and Elektra were a couple at one point. Yes, these two have had sex. I'm not kidding about that. They have. If you read the Thunderbolt series, first went by Dana Wayne and of course now by Charles Shaw, these two were in fact a couple. They ended their relationship with the final arc of the series, Punisher vs. Thunderbolts. Yeah, and this is Punisher's second group series and part of, along with Elektra. As for in the case of Brother Voodoo, this is the second one for him because he was also part of the Kenny Avengers. Also done by Gary Duggan, so at least he has experience writing him. Yeah, but as the rest of these characters, well, Mike D'Adella has experience drawing, well, Punisher. He drew him in the awesome Original Sin series, where he drew that awesome scene of, and it's one of my favorite scenes moments from Original Sin. Punisher meeting Rocket Raccoon. How in the world these two have never met prior to this is never explained. That was an awesome event. Had characters who never met each other before meeting each other. Yes. Though one thing I don't like about Wolverine is the costume. I really don't like the costume. I've never been a fan of the ugly brown and yellow costume. I know there's a friend of mine who does love this costume, Wolverine. This costume is not my favorite. My favorite costume is the Jim Lee costume. I love that outfit. It's so freaking cool. Now, as for some of the other characters, now aside from, now Gary Duggan have some minor experience writing, well, Punisher, because I think prior to this, I think he wrote him in the Punisher miniseries tied to War of the Realms and of course Punisher Kill Crew. As in the case of the others, well, Conan, he was writing him in the Savage of Conan series, which he did the first arc of that series, and then of course he left to do this. Venom, I don't think he has experience writing Venom. Not that I can think of, no. As in the case of Wolverine, I think he has zero experience writing it before. But I figured though he probably really wanted to write these characters, and who would not want to read a series featuring these cool characters? Now, here's the thing. Out of all the characters, only Brother Voodoo is not that well known outside comic fans to me. In the case of these characters, people know who Conan is. He's been around for years, so people know who he is. Wolverine, yes, people know who he is. Punisher, yes. Elektra, yes. Venom, yes. Brother Voodoo, no, though I've heard a rumor he might show up in Doctor Strange too. Oh yes, the villain of this thing. Who is the main villain of this opening storyline? It's, I kid you not, an old Conan villain. I'm like, wow. I never expect to see him in Marvel Comics. Because when I last saw this guy, he was in a comic published by of all companies, by of all things, Dynamite show up in the Red Sonny book. Here he is. Clun Gath. There he is. Yep. I'm like, when I saw him appear in this series, I'm like, wait. I thought you were owned by Dynamite because last book you appeared in was a Red Sonny book. The last time you appeared in a comic published by Member Comics was back in 2005. This came out in 2019. Like, how in the world? Now, my only personal theory of how in the world Marvel got him back is because of association with Conan. That's probably how they got him back, because of the license associated with him. But I thought that Red Sonny I thought Red Dynamite would license this character, not Marvel. Yeah, that's kind of confusing. So, oh yes, what's Venom doing in the storyline? Well, apparently he was captured at some point prior to this, and he's later freed. Who the host is, they don't say, because it's implied it might be Eddie Brock, but it's not explicitly revealed. I mean, the only characters who basically do something in the storyline is, of course, Punisher, Conan, Wolverine, Elektra. So I think probably the only character who does pretty much almost jack squat is Venom. Of course, Con Glunt basically was looking for Doctor Strange, who is the Sorcerer Supreme. Well, Brother Voodoo, they call him Dr. Voodoo. He's also a Sorcerer Supreme, but not the main one. Basically, that belongs to Doctor Strange. And mostly it's like, when you think of this series, maybe it's like, okay, yeah, Wolverine meeting Conan for the first time, which the whole concept of Conan coming to modern day, this is nothing original. They actually is in a what if issue. So some must have saw that one issue, like, okay, it was the issue done by Peter Giles, like, what if Conan came to modern day? Yes, had this cool cover of Punisher with a gun, and that was used for the image for when Peter Giles showed up at Tampa Comic Con. I think it was like last year or two. I think it was when he showed up. And so my guess is Marvel must have loved that concept. Like, okay, let's make that concept canon when we get the license back. So they brought him modern day, and he's in this series. And he's still in this series. This is one of the 3 books he has. Because, of course, actually, no. Believe it or not, he's down. There's 2 books now. Because at one point he had 3. He had this series, Savage Sword Conan, but that since got canceled, and Conan the Barbarian. Pretty much it's the Savage Avengers versus, of course, Con Gluth. And at the end, the guy gets away, but it's a great series. At one point, he resurrects the Punisher's family. I'm like, Gary Duggan, you got balls to do that, but you're not the first person who did that. The last person's name was Rick Remender. So that's not an original concept of a sorcerer resurrecting the Punisher's family, because Rick Remender did that in his book. So that was surprising. But this book overall is just so fun. The book ends with Conan and Punisher basically taking a long way back out of the Savage Land. As in the case of Wolverine, Elektra, and Venom, they go on their own way home. So is apparently Dr. Voodoo for some reason. Yes, but this series overall is really good. I can't wait for the next book to come out, which comes out in 2 months. Yep, 2 months. I was curious still if the series is being published. It still is. And still the same writer, thank God. And one thing I really hope, though, for this series, I hope it does not get canceled after there's 12 or 13 issues. Yes, because apparently if it's not the main Avengers book, we have to act the book after a year. I give this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. This series, these issues are so fun to read. And this is one series I have always wanted to review ever since the first time about it last year. An absolute great series to read. So far, anyways. I mean, it's only like 11 issues in. Next up is, now moving from Marvel DC, we have Justice League of America, Volume 4, Sanctuary, collecting issues 17 to 21 of the comic book. Mostly put for this thing, it's just it's basically kind of an epilogue to, pretty much this whole storyline is just an epilogue to Salvation Run. That's what this storyline is, and also a setup for Final Crisis. Well, they're just like actually visiting the planet from Salvation Run, but not from Marsh Manor for some reason. And they know about the prison planet. Of course, does Wally give her up in charge for this? Nope. Despite the fact what she did was technically illegal. She turned a whole planet into a prison with no supervision. That's pretty much what she did. Now, the whole story itself is done by a couple of different writers. Now, yes, this book had two writers on it. You had Dwayne McDuffie and Alan Barnett, who basically took over for some reason this book. Now, Dwayne McDuffie does a lot of the standalone issues. He does the backup story in here, at least like the side issues. Mostly it's Al Barnett does the issues. Now, the Sanctuary artwork is done by Ed Baines. The artwork for the issues, like Meal in the Kitchen, is done by John Boy Myers for his couple of stories. Back Up the Speed is done by Ethan Van Sciver. The Gathering Crisis, which is basically a prelude, set up for Final Crisis, is done by Carlos Pacheco. That issue is input just a prelude into Final Crisis #1, which had the League apparently getting this apparently this main decision of when Human Flame came back. Yeah, when Human Flame appeared in here, this was his first appearance since the 50s. Yes, he was essentially put a one-shot villain from the 50s. That they said that it's been 8 years since he went from jail. In actuality, it's been 50. Yeah. But this actually is pretty good. Yes, of course, his parents is by Dr. Polaris. Oh, and by the way, guess who basically organizes this? And of course, he organizes a new version of the Secret Society. Of course, this guy also introduced a version of the Injustice League. Lebra, a minor villain from the 70s. Yep. Yeah, but this, it's pretty good. Not as good as the stuff Dwayne McDuffie was doing. Yes, for some reason the guy got fired from this book. For some reason, I have no idea why. I'm gonna give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I don't give it up. Normally I would give this 9.5, but it's a bit of a step down from the last arc. Yeah, with that arc was just pure fun. This was just okay. The artwork is really good, and of course they continue building the relationship between Hawkgirl and Red Arrow, which doesn't go much anywhere, but it's a great relationship. Yep. But that's all you can say about this. Just an epilogue of Salvation Run. Yeah. And I think it's quite stupid that Amanda Waller is never punished for this stupid nonsense of Salvation Run. Yes, taking every single supervillain on the planet and transport them to a deserted world. Well, basically, war of vegetation. Yes. Why in the world see this? Apparently, oh yeah, we need to do this because reasons. Does Waller get punished for this? Nope. She has never been punished for the actions of the Suicide Squad or her bullcrap that she's done over the years. Yeah, she's never been punished for this at all. You know the thing she wasn't punished for was killing the LOA. Yeah, a drug cartel in New Orleans. That's the only thing she's ever been punished for. Or she spent a year in prison over it. Everything else, nope, nothing. But yeah, not much else to say about these two trades. The Avengers trades, really good. Just like America, it's okay for the most part. It's got great artwork though. I think Dwayne McDuffie does a good job. Al Barr, I thought it was kind of weird that he wrote the main story. I thought his writing for this series was not up to snuff what Dwayne McDuffie was. I thought the Final Crisis stuff, that was cool. I love that. But not much else to say about these two trades. Okay, so that's this particular review. As for if I got time to do one more GT review, it's a maybe. If not, I'll do it for tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. As for I'm going to do another, let's say another Comic Corner tomorrow. Well, I do have a couple trades lined up I want to read, but I'll probably read those soon, but probably not today. Okay, but until the next video. Bye.